Well, thanks for watching. Your feature presentation will start in a moment. But first, a quick reminder. Subscribe to our full podcast, wherever you get yours. Wherever you get yours sounds weirdly saucy.
Rise and shine.
Bat an eyelash.
Good morning.
There are no hands on the clock
Why?
because they're not needed.
What time is it?
You know, I don't remember that part. All right, let's just not nitpick over the password stuff. Look, this is Bob Ferguson. All right, you just called my house. Let's cut the. I need the rendezvous point.
What time is it?
Look, Steve Lockjaw just attacked my home. I lost my daughter. This is Bob Ferguson. You understand?
Right.
I don't remember any more of this. I don't remember any more of this code speak. All right, let's just get on with what is the rendezvous point.
And that is a clip from One Battle After Another. Delighted to say I've been joined by its director, Paul Thomas Anderson. How are you, Paul?
I'm great, yeah.
It's very nice to see you.
Hey, nice to see you.
Excited to talk about your movie after all these years?
I kind of am, yeah.
How long has it been from the original idea?
Too long. It's embarrassing. I kind of wish I had never told the truth about how long I've been writing it, because it's no one should ever write something for that long.
Well, the figure I saw was 2 decades.
I remember writing pieces of it in 99 or 2000, sometime around then. Very little of it has survived since then, but enough that I it's true, yeah.
So is the spirit of the story the same?
I think it is. I think I had the spirit of the story. I think that's a great question. I think I had the spirit of the story and some specific trappings. Car chases, a desert, there was a bounty hunter, there was evil forces, there was a pursuit of some kind, very broad, general way to think about something. And I've just kind of dialogue written down. And some of it survived, but obviously has changed and moved and drifted along.
So the origin being the Thomas Pynchon book, who you worked with before with Inherent Vice, but that's very loose, as I understand. I haven't read the book.
Well, it's funny because it's the classic definition of it is, but it isn't. Which is a really irritating thing to say. But the bounty hunter story that I had from 20 years ago is completely separate. Vineland has a terrific. The center of our story and Vineland are very similar. What happens when a group of ex-revolutionaries kind of crumble in on themselves, or revolutionaries crumble in on themselves and disband? Vineland kind of picks up with a character named Zoid Wheeler living in the woods with his daughter Prairie. And because of the 80s Reagan administration coming in, they've kind of decided to cancel all previous deals with anybody who had ratted anybody out back in the old days, And so, yeah, much significantly more complicated than our story. I think we sort of stole and ran with the simplest premise of what happens when your past comes back to haunt you.
It occurred to me in the first half hour of the film that this is kind of a politically fraught time to be introducing a movie which begins with an act of kind of leftist-inspired terrorism, for want of a better word. And I wonder if that's what Steven Spielberg was addressing when he said this film is more relevant now than when you started writing it.
Yeah, it's funny though, isn't it? Because, well, my feeling about it is the more things change, the more they stay the same. How could somebody start writing this movie 20 years ago? Me. And how could Thomas Pynchon start writing a movie? Him, put it out in 1984, and still somehow these things all still make sense. I mean, I think that leads to the very nice line in the film that Perfidious says, which is 16 years later, the world had changed very little. I think that the point is, we may think that we're changing a lot, but we are still the same. Seem to be acting as the same idiots that we always have.
Okay. So this leftist group at the beginning, French 75 is what they call it. Are they kind of, I did politics, but so are they like Weather Underground?
That's the idea.
Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, we stole all that from there, that kind of idea. What happened?
They were incompetent, really. They're the only people they blew up with themselves, so.
Hey, they did. They didn't get far. It's true. They did blow themselves up. And a building in Greenwich Village. Yeah, an entire building went down. I took the idea of the Weather Underground and just throwing them up into a contemporary situation, what
Yeah.
would happen.
You don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows.
That's right.
And so on from there. So Leonardo DiCaprio is our main character. He's certainly on the side of the buses around London. He said he's wanted to work with you. He was close to doing Boogie Nights, and then he couldn't do it because he was doing Titanic. Is that true?
Well, it's not that gray. It's a bit more black and white than that. He decided to do Titanic instead of Boogie Nights.
That's a choice.
That's a very big choice that he made with his life, and he's had to learn to live with it.
Yes, I think he said he regrets.
I've made him suffer for 25 years. No, it was I think it was a very tough decision for him to make. I think at the time I was not a proven filmmaker at all, and I was kind of starting out. We really connected. We immediately kind of hit it off. I think that he'd been in enough films that no one had really seen at all, that he kind of felt like this is an interesting opportunity with James Cameron. And so he made that decision. And the funny thing that kind of gets looked over in this story, and this really speaks to his generosity. At the time, he had made The Basketball Diaries with Mark Wahlberg, which hadn't come out yet. And he said, I can't do this movie, but you should really talk to Mark. And I know because everybody thought of him as the underwear model at the time. He was just he was in his Calvin Kleins and he was kind of a rapper and Marky Mark, and Leo said, take him seriously, meet him. He's your guy. And he was so generous in handing that off to Mark. And like anything, you get the right person, I think I know we got the right person. Mark was the right person for that part. Leo wasn't probably the right person at that time for that part. So these things always end up, you get the person you're supposed to get.
Yeah. You have a fantastic cast working throughout this film. And after about an hour, I did wonder if this is going to be the film of the year. And I kind of think that it probably is.